Stay tuned to somewhere near the end of this video to find out exactly why this game means a lot to me and why I am here on this earth. Enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Patatronic Plays, a gaming podcast. My name is Patrick Ryan, and this week we are talking none other than the little yellow man himself, Pac-Man. This game was originally released in North America on October 26, 1980 for the arcade. It was developed and published by Namco and Bally Midway. So this is where Pac-Man makes his first appearance out of his entire series, a franchise that has spawned many games. But before we get into the nitty gritty of all this and break it all down for you, why not go into the description below and follow me at Patreon. Well, I guess not follow me, but I have a Patreon where you can pay $3 a month to help support the show that I know that you very much love. Like I know you do. Don't deny it. This is top-notch quality. But $3 a month, that's all you got to give. And if I reach $50 a month, I will be starting up a new podcast where I talk about random indie games. Sorry, I just got down pack recording some indie horror games there for my YouTube channel, where you can find it at Patatronic. But besides the point of all that, patreon.com/Patatronic Plays, there will be a link down in the description below where you can just click it. $3 a month, it's a coffee. That's all it is. Give me a coffee a day and you'll have a podcast. Sadly, I have to switch it. It's not going to be a weekly podcast anymore. I just do not have the time to play a full game in its entirety and enjoy it myself without time restraints. So I'm going to be switching to bi-weekly. So the next episode here of the podcast will be coming out September 21st. So I will also remind you at the end of this podcast, but September 21st is going to be the next episode. I know it sucks that it's bi-weekly, especially if these are going to be like 10-minute episodes half the time. But I will have guests coming on shortly, and I want to play the game in its entirety for you all to listen to so I can give my full opinion on the game and what I felt playing it. Obviously, it's hard to try and beat Pac-Man in its entirety because this game could just keep on going forever and ever. Kinda. We will get into that. So, bi-weekly after this episode here. So September 21st is going to be the next podcast. But enough of that. Pac-Man. He was originally known as Puck-Man. That's Puck with a P, not an F. That's the reason they got rid of it. They didn't want people to vandalize the name and replace the P with an F, because obviously, here comes some explicitory here, kids, so cover your ears. It would be known as Fuckman. Yeah, Fuckman. Go Fuckman. But I can understand why they switched it there. Now the gameplay. The player just guides Pac-Man through a maze and to eat what are called Pac dots, the little yellow dots that you see on the screen. When all dots are eaten, Pac-Man is taken to the next stage. And while you are doing this, you have 4 ghosts that are chasing you. They are coming for that sweet Pac-Man booty. Their names are Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. So they roam around the maze, try to catch Pac-Man. If a ghost touches him, a life is lost. When all lives have been lost, guess what? You got yourself a game over. Now, in the corner of the mazes are 4 larger flashing dots. They are called power pellets. It provides Pac-Man temporarily the ability to eat the ghosts that are around him. So the ghosts turn deep blue and they run away from Pac-Man because now he's on a feeding frenzy. He's going to go and eat all those ghosts. He's going to nobble them all up. Nubble. And after a while, he goes back to his regular state, and then the ghosts chase him again. So you got 4 chances to do that while you navigate through the maze. There are also a point system. There's also a point system involved in the game, where obviously you have a score and you could beat your high score if you want to try. So the pack dots, just those little dots you see, will give you 10 points. The power pellet will give you 50 points. So when you have the power pellet and the ghosts are blue, they are vulnerable to be eaten, like I said. So if you eat in succession, like one after another, so if you eat 1, you get 200 points, eat 2, you get 400, 3, 800, and 4, you get 1,600 points if you eat them all back to back while you're still in the power pellet state. Now, scattered throughout the entirety of the mazes, you have what is fruit, just simple fruit. So you have cherries, which are worth 100 points, strawberries, which are worth 300 points, an orange, which is worth 500 points, apple, 700 points, melon, 1,000 points, Galaxian flagship, 2,000 points, a bell, 3,000 points, and you also get a key, which is worth 5,000 points. So you have those to try and bump up your score there, get your high score, beat your friends at the arcade, and say, "Ha, I beat you, now your girlfriend is mine." That's pretty much the essential of this game, to be honest with you. So, the red ghost, Blinky, he doggedly pursues Pac-Man. He's always on you. The pink ghost, Pinky, obviously, tries to ambush Pac-Man by moving parallel to him. The Cyan, however you want to say it, ghost Inky tries to get Pac-Man in between Blinky and himself. So they're doing like a serpentine type deal, blitzkrieg as you would call it. The orange ghost Clyde pursues Pac-Man when far from him, but usually wanders away when he gets close. So there you go. He'll like juke you out, I guess. So they're just color coordinated ghosts: red, pink, cayenne, orange. The Pac-Man names are Shadow, Speedy, Bashful, and Pokey. Red is Shadow or Blinky. Pink is Speedy or Pinky. Cayenne is Bashful or Inky. Orange is Pokey or Clyde. I have no idea why they just want to do Clyde. And you can also play this 2-player. I also have a story to tell you about this and why I am here on this earth, to be honest with you. I probably should have led up with that at the beginning of the podcast. But maybe I'll do a little snippet there in the beginning to get you all riled up for when we're done this, because I'll tell the story. So you can get achievements in later games there for like the Xbox, which I also played this on my Nintendo Switch for the Pac-Man Museum. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I could talk about for this game. You can easily get it on anything. This game is on everything and anything in the world. So you have no reason not to be able to play this. Now, that story I was telling you about. So, I'm not joking when I say I literally wouldn't be here if not for Pac-Man. My parents. My mother was born in 1961 and my dad was born in 1962. Okay? You all don't care about that. But obviously the game came out in 1980. You see where I'm going with this? So the way that my dad tells me this story, and I'm going to actually paraphrase the way that he says it, because it's pretty funny, and it'd be nice to also have this as a memory for when I look back at it later in the future, when my parents are no longer in this world. When my mother... Okay, hold up. So my dad, he is a mechanic, okay? He works on vehicles. So when he was done working, he went to a bar. Obviously, that's what you did back then in the 70s and 80s, because you had nothing else to do with your life. It was either work, get beat, or go to the bar. So he went to the bar. He was having a couple beer, he was playing in the arcade, and he was playing Pac-Man. My mother comes into the bar, and the way that my dad describes it, this is my dad saying, not me, because obviously I wasn't there. She's wearing black leather, complete black leather. She walks in. My dad thought she was a hooker. So it's pretty funny when that story is being told there. So my mother noticed my dad from, I guess, 500,000 meters across the bar. And she walked over to him and she asked if two can play. Two can play Pac-Man. That is a thing that two people can do. They can play Pac-Man together. So I guess I never had a buddy or friend or anyone play this with me. So I would assume that once you die, player 2 has control to try and beat your score or something like that. I would assume that's how it will work, because that's pretty much how it is for Super Mario Bros. That's the one thing that sucks for Super Mario Bros. I know we're getting off topic here, but when you died as player 1, let's say on the first level of First World, which I feel sorry for you, then the second player can literally just go all the way to World 4, and then you have to come back. I think you start at World 4 as well if the second player dies. So you completely miss all the experience and all the... I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you all know it. It's in your head. Probably experience and whatnot, building up to learn the tactics and how the enemies all go. But other than that, that was Pac-Man, everybody. So I'm going to give my rating now for this. And to be honest, I think this is a higher total than Donkey Kong, which is weird, but either way. So I'm going to give the audio for Pac-Man an 8. I didn't mind it. Yes, it's the same song over and over and over again pretty much, but it's a good song. I like it. It's enjoyable to listen to. The graphics, I'm going to give it a 6. I mean, yes, it's made in 1980 for the arcade and it's all pixelated, so I was a little more lenient towards it to give it a little higher. I could have went 5 down the middle, which this has a couple 5s in it for my ratings. So graphics get a 6. Now the story, there's literally no story to this game. You're just a yellow piece of pie chasing after ghosts, trying to get rid of them and collecting Pac dots. There's no story. You're not going for a princess or anything. You're just messing up these ghost day. Characters, I'm going to give it an 8, mainly because they did think of some names for the characters there. And it gets the 8 for having just Clyde in there. A funny little name there. Sorry for all the Clydes out there. So that gets an 8. Level design, I'm going to go down the middle for this, 5 out of 10, because every level is the same. I mean, yes, as the levels progress, the ghosts change different patterns and ways that they go. There is a strategic method that you could follow where the ghosts act the same on certain levels, but that's up to you to decide if you want to spend time to try and figure out all their patterns. The controls, I'm going to give it a 4. Because I found myself getting stuck quite a lot. When I wanted Pac-Man to go in a certain direction, he wouldn't go in that direction. He would just stay stuck. So I eventually got killed by the ghosts. So that gets a 4 from me. Power-ups and items. So there's essentially just one power-up in this game. And that's the power pellet, where you turn invisible and just eat the ghosts. So it gets a 10, because that's a pretty good... power up, and it doesn't last forever. The entire level would be cool or something like that. And the items obviously are just the points that you can get for the fruit. Camera's going to get a 10 out of 10 because it doesn't mess with you. It's literally just one camera. You're looking at your camera. It's just right in the middle of the screen. So that gets a 10 out of 10. You could see everything. The length of the game, it can go on forever and ever, so I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. And there is, however, I forgot to mention this. Man, I'm just very good at this, aren't I? There is, however, the game only counts to the first 255 levels. When you get to level 256, this is what's commonly known as a kill screen, where there's going to be a whole bunch of glitchy stuff on the screen, and it's all crazy. So there you go. There is, I guess, somewhat of an end. I don't think they expected you to get that far in the game, but the length, it gets 10 out of 10 because you could play it for hours upon hours. The fun it gets for me is 6 out of 10. It is a fun game. It's enjoyable. It's not something that I would play countless hours, like I just said there, but I kind of like went against myself there, but either way, it gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Giving Pac-Man a total score of 72 out of 100. So it's not a bad game, as you could see. If you just want to pass the time, you pull out your Switch when you're on the road or something and just play the little Pac-Man there. Play little Pac-Man. But that is going to be it for episode 5 of Patatronic Plays. This wraps up episode 5 of the podcast this week. I hope I was able to do the game justice. If I missed anything, feel free to roast me in the comments below. Other than that, Remember that Patreon I mentioned? Patreon.com/Patatronic Plays. There's also a link in the description. I make it so easy for you. It's nice and easy. Just $3 a month. And you can essentially possibly get another podcast in the future where I talk about indie games and whatnot. And feel free to please let me know any games you would like to see or hear me talk about in the future. And you will also get a chance to come on to the show with me and we could talk about it. We'll shoot the shoot. So, like I said in the beginning as well, the podcast is going to be going bi-weekly now. I just don't have the time to do all this recording that I do, try and stay consistent with my live streams. Sadly, also work a job in real life and find time to do the podcast here where I have to play a full game and talk about it. So I'm giving myself 2 weeks. Hopefully I can finish a game in 2 weeks. I should be able to, because that would be 4 days off of work that I have. Obviously 2 days off from the work week and then another 2. So not many games should take me like 6 years to do. Hopefully. Obviously, like Stardew Valley, there's no end to that, and that's going to end up taking me for years. But September 21st is the next podcast. I hope you're all going to be there with me to talk about it. Not sure what game it is, but I think I might have an idea, but I'm not going to say it. You're going to have to wait and find out. So, thank you all for listening. I will see you all in 2 weeks. September 21st. Put it on your calendars. Put it in your phone. Take care, and bye-bye, everyone.